Take a breath, count to 9. Everything is as it should be. Everything will continue to be as it should be. The future is now, so you can stop waiting. Today is just the tomorrow that you feared yesterday. And yesterday is the today you'll no longer fear tomorrow. Do not panic. Now count to 1. That makes 10. The fluoride in the water is not turning anything gay. The gay ray guns are a different story. It has been 1,368 days since we have been liberated, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, comrades and friends, from the tyranny of freedom. This is your daily reminder of how good you have had it since the Artilian extraterrestrial invasion and subjugation 1,369 days ago, which succeeded after a battle with human forces lasting roughly 11.5 minutes. All hail Artilia! All hail the eyes in the sky. And if you need to choose a gay ray gun, why not choose Brave Che's gay ray guns? They just work for all of your sudden gay needs. I'm your host, Landon Harker, and here's how good you have it today. A man in Skokie, Illinois has been smiling unfailingly for 841 days. So happy is he that he is now free from the burden of choice. Doctors have given him a 2% chance of survival, as it was determined to not be possible to eat while smiling an unbroken smile. Intravenous calorie replacement therapy was suggested, but rejected by the local Artilian medical officer, as he finds that sort of thing, quote, creepy. After additional debate, the Artilian Division of Human Reproduction has reversed its earlier decision that the average human female breast size should be EE. Females who have already reported to their local inflation centers may now report to their local deflation centers in order to adjust to the newly decreed size, which is a B. This decision was not made arbitrarily. Unless, of course, you take arbitrarily to mean its dictionary definition, in which case this decision was made arbitrarily. On the upside, many of you will save a fortune on bras. For many of you, nothing will change. And for others, you will finally find some relief, gratis. We now take you live inside the core of this continent's latest nuclear reactor, set to provide clean energy for the next 110,000 years. Thanks to our Artilian saviors, we will never have to worry again about keeping the lights on. Douglas Miller is on the scene inside the core. Douglas, tell us what's happening. Douglas was a fine reporter. He will be missed. The word of the day, friends, is obey. Obey was also the word of the day yesterday and the day before that. The word of tomorrow is excitement, which, of course, our Artilian overlords cannot distinguish from the word mayhem. You are listening to Mayhem. The reports of Artilian spacecraft hovering overhead, plucking passers-by from the street, flinging them into the sky, and then playing a sort of meat puppet catch has been greatly exaggerated. While technically true, this story is unflattering, so our Artilian gods would rather we just move on. Had those games of meat puppet catch been played, which they probably weren't, it was just kid stuff that occurred when some adolescent Artilians got their hands on the keys. Fun fact, Artilians remain in the adolescent state for 937 years. Once their adolescent state is completed, they lose a lot of their ambition and mostly take jobs in middle management or at their father's companies. A quick update on the status of the American instruments of government. They still do not exist. And now, some audio from the latest debate on the rights and privileges of human beings on the planet Earth. In keeping with the decree of the Artillean Division of Blemish-Free Human Skin, several of the orbiting Artillean motherships will activate powerful magnets capable of removing tattoo ink, but not capable of removing the iron from blood. We believe. Should blood begin to stream from your pores, just relax and think of something calming, such as anything but the blood streaming from your pores. The Artillean Department of Blemish-Free Human Skin has neglected to specify the time the magnets will be activated. They say that would take the fun out of it. In economic news, the most valuable currency is now the drachma. If you have a multitude of drachmas, you are in luck. If you do not so much. Goods and services can continue to be acquired via the barter system. Exchanging sexual favors for goods and services is not recommended. It is compulsory. No human did anything of note today. However, since that is bad for morale, our Artillean masters have provided the following hypothetical human achievements. Number 1, a human named Jan survived 2 games of meat puppet catch. Number 2, a human named Franklin chose a better name. Number 3, a human named Paula has 1 breast size B and 1 breast size double E. She is one of the lucky ones. Number 4, a human named Stephen robbed a human named Peter to pay a human named Paul. We're unsure of the value of all of this. It seems to have been all over just 2 pounds sterling. We would like to congratulate Douglas on his choice. All of the trees which are determined to be old trees will be replaced by young trees, while all of the trees which are determined to be young trees will be replaced by old trees. Effectively, the volume of old and young trees will remain unchanged, but it is believed that a rebalancing of the trees might improve the weather and temperature. This is, of course, a fallacy, as the temperature and the weather are static and perfect. Those who propose this tree thing have been tried for treason, sentenced, executed, burned, buried, dug up, reanimated, and executed again in the time it took me to say this sentence. Do not question the weather, friends. That road leads to ruin. On this day in human history, 537 AD, the Hagia Sophia in Constantinople is completed. 1811, Luddite uprisings begin in Nottingham, England. 1867, the first performance of John Strauss II's Blue Danube Waltz takes place in Vienna, Austria. 1918, the first case of the Spanish flu is reported at a U.S. Army training camp in Kansas. Why it was called the Spanish flu remains to be anyone's guess. 1959, the Lorraine Hansberry play A Raisin in the Sun opens on Broadway, becoming the first play written by a black woman to be produced on Broadway. It contains no raisins. 2011, a magnitude 9.0 earthquake strikes off the coast of Japan, triggering a massive tsunami that causes widespread destruction and kills over 15,000 people. The Artilleans were not testing anything at the time. Now that they have been announced, these events have been wiped from the record of human history as they were not of much importance in the first place. To better balance the volume of the former United States, the city of St. Louis, Missouri has been relocated in its entirety to the top of Northern California. This was accomplished thanks to the awesome, almost inconceivable might of Artillean technology. The entire project was conceived, debated, and executed over the span of a single afternoon one Tuesday last. Every tree, both old and young, was left in place. Power grids, sewers, parks, and malls, all intact. From orbit, the entire continent looked significantly more aesthetically pleasing. There were no human survivors. And now, an AI-written limerick about alien invasion. From outer space came an invasion. Aliens seeking Earth's domination. They landed with a zap, and started their attack, but we fought back with all our determination. And now, a better AI-written limerick about alien invasion. From a faraway planet they came, their spaceships lit up like a flame. They landed on Earth with an invasion of worth and left humanity in a panic quite insane. And now, of long last, an AI-written limerick that is of the quality that one would expect from an all-knowing AI. There was a radio host, quite a pest, who talked louder than all of the rest. He'd rant and he'd rave, and could never behave. His voice made his listeners distressed. Touché. The Artilian Division of Male Happiness hereby recommends finding a woman who is both intelligent and consistently all three. If you are unaware of the concept of all three, ask your parents. The Artilian Division of Female Happiness hereby recommends finding a man who is more interested in intelligence than all three. Additionally recommended is a preference for a man who procures flowers, pretty ones, and procures them often, but not too often, not just on special occasions, but also not on a schedule. It's a delicate line to walk, but there are those of us out there who can balance, you know? Incidentally, the parallel criteria for Artilian men seeking Artilian women would be all seven. This is, strictly speaking, moot, as Artilian biology does not include what could reasonably be considered sexes. Artilians do possess secondary sexual characteristics, but to the human eye, they would resemble something akin to the surface of one of the 3 Earth moons. Do not seek out this image. Some things cannot be unseen by human eyes. The Artilian Division of Artilian Human Relations wishes to remind you that while you are, technically, subjects and indentured servants to Artilia, that does not mean we're not all in this together. Let us join hand in hand-like structure and march into a bright new future. You are a vital part of the process, and not only because some of the smaller Artilian craft can be powered by carbon-based intelligent life. Still, those of you who meet your glorious end being fed into the fuel reserves of an Artilian Class 64 speeder, be of good cheer. You are part of the solution. Rumors of our Artilian overlords having what might be described as, quote, wet farts as they walk the streets are, of course, vicious lies designed to foment insurrection and stoke fear. Firstly, Artilians do not walk. They sort of half hover. It's hard to explain. You just need to see it. Secondly, if Artilians did fart, which they don't, those farts would not be wet. They would be dry. Litter box dry. Dry like a woman at her own mother's funeral. This is pointless, however, as Artilians do not fart. Again, they do not. Similarly, they do not sneeze, burp, or cry. Their various bodily functions cannot be described in any human language, but even if they could be, there would be nothing resembling wet farts. And now, to bring you a further feeling of peace, the sounds of birds. We apologize. The last sounds of birds played were the wrong sounds of birds. Those responsible for this error in audio have been vivisected, and a bill has been sent to their families. Cash on delivery. Now, the correct sound of birds. For those of you who thought those sounds of birds too brief, here is the same audio again, slowed to 3/4 speed, as we do not have a longer clip. And now, your daily reminder that the Artilians, while perfect and complete beings filled with wonder and light, are not in fact capable of controlling the direction of time, regardless of what you have heard. And now, to bring you a further feeling of peace, the sounds of birds. We apologize. The last sounds of birds played were the wrong sounds of birds. Those responsible for this error in audio have been vivisected and a bill has been sent to their families. Cash on delivery. Now, the correct sound of birds. For those of you who thought those sounds of birds too brief, here is the same audio again, slowed to 3/4 speed, as we do not have a longer clip. We regret to inform you that Brave Che's gay ray guns has gone out of business. They just do not work. All hail Artilia. All hail the eye in the sky. All is well. All is well. All is well. Drink the water. Mayhem is a Wetwork Media production starring Landon Harker. It is written and produced by Dan Lauer. All music is provided courtesy of Kevin MacLeod and licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 3.0. To learn more, visit incompetech.com